Hello and welcome to another edition of Entrepreneur TV. And today I am super excited to introduce my next guest. The reason why I was blown away when I saw her creations. It is Jenny from Little Vanporium. Hello Jenny, I am so pleased that you've managed to take the great journey of coming all the way from Wales over to this coast. Did you first off have a good drive?
Yes, yeah, it was a good excuse to go in the camper van, so always happy to have a new destination to come and explore.
Now, one of the lovely things that I see, because I know you do accessories and everything, but you make the most amazing sinks I have ever seen.
Thank you.
I mean, they're not boring and dull, are they?
No, they're definitely not.
So let's take it back to when you started this business. What made you get into it?
Well, to begin with, I was just doing my own van conversion, and I was looking for a sink, and there was just nothing interesting. Well, there's ceramic sinks which are absolutely beautiful, but they're just not practical for a camper van. Everything's weight dependent, and the only other options really is stainless steel. So I wanted something with a bit of colour, something that was going to pop, and yeah, there just wasn't anything that existed out there. So it kind of started with me trying to solve a problem for my own conversion, really.
And is this always something that you've been into like, sort of artistic things? Or have you got another background with work before you started this business?
So hospitality is where I came from originally. I started as a bartender and then managing hotels and then running campsites. So that was kind of where I've come from professionally. But creatively, I've always been pretty creative. I did photography degree and graphic design, and I'm an artist. So yes, yeah, colour and creativity is kind of my passion.
I mean, it's one thing, isn't it? Sort of, doing your own like little conversion project and then, being sort of safe and secure in a little job there. And then all of a sudden running your own business, How did you transition?
Yeah, it's been quite a journey. So originally I was general manager running a campsite, and then that all kind of came to a bit of a crashing bang, and my relationship ended. I quit my job, had to sell my home, and so the plan was to move into a camper van, take a bit of time out and figure out kind of where I was going to go next. So I needed a camper van to kind of move into. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. I didn't really know where I was going to go from there. I just kind of knew I didn't want to be doing what I was doing in hospitality. I wanted a break. And then the actual original plan was to take the van and go for a 2-year adventure around Europe and have a proper break and figure it out. And then COVID happened.
Yes.
Pretty much 10 days into my adventure.
No.
Yeah. So my maiden voyage into exploration didn't happen, and then I had to come back and ended up staying at my grand's home in Wales. Hospitality didn't exist anymore because obviously with COVID everything was shut down. So yeah, it kind of
did it sort
evolved itself.
Yeah, did it sort of like then you think, well, do you know what? We've had this little hiatus that's been going on in the world, and this is probably a great time for me now to do what I would like to do.
Yeah, I think it made me realise that I didn't really the job and my experiences as great as, and I enjoyed hospitality, but it wasn't really something tangible. I didn't have a real physical skill. And I love business anyway. Like I really enjoy looking at how to improve businesses, and it's something I'm quite passionate about. And I think that was the point where I was like, I wanted to have something that was really mine, and kind of see if I could bring it from an idea all the way through into a working business.
And that you jolly well have. I mean, first off, your website is fantastic. It's just given me plenty of ideas. You just think, wow. I mean, is that the wonderful thing that when you have, given somebody one of these sinks and they've popped it in and they send you a photograph, do you wow?
Yeah, I think that's my absolute favourite part about this is trying to come up with something that is creative, but also to help people have that same creative journey, and to see the finished pieces is just great. That is like my favourite part. And I do plead quite often with my customers to be like, have you finished yet? Can I see you? Can you send me a picture? Because it's just so nice to see when they're done.
And is that sort of how it sort of happened? Because I would imagine that you did your little conversion there, and then people saw it and go, I want one.
Yeah. So that it wasn't originally meant to be a business. It was, I created one and I posted the photos on Instagram, and it got quite a bit of traction and a lot of questions about where'd you get your sink from. And I was like, oh, well, I can make more of them. So I made more, put them on some sales sites, and then they just slowly started growing from there. So it wasn't meant to be something, but it was kind of, let's see if this has any legs, and then people are, can you do this colour, or can you do this? And we were at a show, and the first show we did there, it was a rickety table with I think it was a bed sheet over the table with about 6 different sink designs, and it was a horrible, windy, wet weekend. It was a bit of a flop, but we had some people who come in the smaller VW vans, and they'd come up and they were like, oh, these are great, but can you make them smaller? And these are 30 centimetre bowls, so they're not, they're compact, they're practical, but they're quite small for a sink. We were like, smaller? They were like, yeah, we just want one so we can brush our teeth and fill up a kettle, but we have small vans, so we don't want much for a sink. So I was like, well, yeah, we can make them smaller. I thought we were pushing the boundaries of how small, sinks are. So now we have these 21 centimetre sinks, which are tiny, but they're cute, and they look so great in in little Connect vans. And so, yeah, there's it's been quite an interesting exploration.
You see, that's the thing, isn't it? People always then ask you, oh, could you just do? Could you just do? Do you get a lot of the bespoke requests, and you think, well, I never saw that one coming?
Yes, yeah, and it's interesting because some of the designs we have that I think are going to go really well are actually the ones that aren't as popular, and then the ones that I'm like, oh, that's a bit of a curveball, and they're the ones that are super popular. So it's quite interesting to see that evolve as well from the ones. The original one was, I loved it. It was perfect for my van, and then from where we are with that one to now we've got a jungle pattern, and that one is it goes great, and the designs they've gone into conversions are just amazing, and you just can't always see how that's going to turn in, how it's going to turn out until you see what they've created.
And the other good thing is, because I used to have a boat on Lake Windermere, and as I said to you earlier, it had the ugliest sink known to man, that I used to put a chopping board over it, hide it, and my dear husband over there didn't think of my need for a beautiful sink. But, these can be used for other things, can't they? Not just vans.
Yes, definitely. We have they've gone into glamping, wash centres, narrow boats. We've had quite a lot of narrow boats, shepherd huts, anything really that you want kind of a nice pop of colour, but also places that are weight sensitive, because these are lightweight. That's kind of the point of them. So they work really well in narrow boats. But there's no reason you can't have them in your domestic bathroom as well. We have quite a few.
I was just about to say that, because my friend is doing a little renovation. I'm going to put her onto you. And she said she has got probably the smallest downstairs toilet known to man. She says if anybody can even do a turn round in it, it's going to be a miracle. But she says, I need a hand basin, but nothing really big.
Yes, and that's, we've even had, especially when we're at the shows, it's quite handy, because there are a lot of, like you said with your boat, there's a lot of retrofits that work really well for our sinks. So there's quite a few different motorhome models where they either had glass sinks that have cracked, or they've stained over time. And it's quite nice at the shows, because people they don't think they need or don't know they want a colourful lightweight sink, but once they've seen it, then it starts kind of producing that thought of, oh, okay, maybe this might be the solution for the problem we've got. And it solved so many problems. There was one couple and they were just like, we have this giant sink in our bathroom and we can't get in and out the bathroom. The sink is just ridiculous. And so we were like, just take a sink away, see if it will fit. And then, so at the show, they were undoing their sink in their motorhome to put ours in to see if it would work. And yeah, so there's so many applications for where you want to put these things.
I mean, the other good thing about them is you mentioned about, and as I know, there are some people, they have these ceramic sinks and they crack, they scratch, they break.
Yeah.
And then you've got like a bit of a major problem because, like, especially if you're away
yes.
and this happens, to get a replacement. These are actually made of melamine, aren't
yes. they? Yeah. So they're super durable. It's a really high quality melamine. So the pattern is, it won't fade, it won't chip, it can take hot water. So they're kind of perfect, really, especially, I mean, in my own van, we have this lovely Moroccan pepper grinder. And it has a home, but I always forget to put it away. It gets put on the shelf right above the sink. Yeah, so every time we set off, it's, clank, and that's hit the sink. So we know it's durable. They've been road tested very well. And so, yeah, that's the nice thing about these. And also when they go into clamping situations as well, the amount of use they get, they are really durable. So they're not going to break. And they're good at taking everyday use.
There's a lot of people like you loving doing their own conversions. How easy are these actually to fit?
Super easy. Again, because they're so lightweight, you can either just cut a hole and surface mount them just using some contact adhesive, or just silicone them in place in a hole. So because they're not ceramic, they don't need much, you don't need extra support or anything like that. So yeah, really easy.
And are there any sort of extra kits or anything that you sell or that you think that people need?
So we do different tap kits as well to go with them. Our favourite new addition is these battery powered taps. So at the shows when we started, we had just a demo for our 12-volt tap kit. And I had this unit, but it had a leisure battery to power it. And people kept walking past, they're like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I need. Can I buy that unit? And we were like, well, no, you can't lift it. It's so heavy. But this kind of idea was, okay, so portable sink units might be something really practical. And then we found these battery-powered taps, and that created a whole solution. So now we have these portable units that you just charge the tap and the pump is fitted inside the tap.
That is so clever.
So it's so simple. So you can actually have a whole sink set up with very little, you don't need much skill. Anyone can really, if you drill a hole and you need 2 holes and that's it. So it's achievable for even those that aren't that crafty.
Well, there you go. You see, you could have given me one of these beautiful sinks. I'm not accepting any excuses next time, Jenny. What are the lead times on these as well? If someone's got something bespoke, say, or someone wants something just off the shelf that they've seen, like one of your creations.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's been a really busy summer, but we're pretty well stocked now. So it's only. It only takes a few days between ordering and getting it sent out. So we can do we do have a few emergency situations as well.
I was about to say
we can accommodate if it's needed.
And what about overseas? Do you have an overseas market as well?
Yes. We've had quite a few now. I think as far as Australia, America.
Wow.
Norway. Quite regularly to France and Spain as well. But they're going global.
That's a good thing. I can only see, actually, when you look at, especially like this beautiful creation we've got here today, it's very sort of Mediterranean looking. You could just see that, especially the Spanish or the Greeks would be all over that.
Yes, yeah. There's a lot of like those beautiful Mediterranean colours and the Moroccan patterns. Because that was the inspiration from the beginning, was loving these huge Moroccan patterned bowls, but just trying to find a way to make it practical for other uses.
I mean, with the programme and everything, I get to see a lot of different vans, and some of them, they do look like they've had the personality, of a plank of wood, you know, put inside of them. You know, I can see as well that you're sort of evolving and trying to do lots more accessories to really make vans pop. You know, what sort of accessories do you do?
Yeah, I think that's really true. There is a very, and I understand why, because obviously if you're trying to build a van to sell, I think you kind of want it a bit of a blank canvas, because obviously taste is very different. But especially if you're creating one yourself, it's such a small space. And I think it's really important to have some creation in there and some colour and make it feel like a home. And so that's kind of where the accessories shop is kind of growing now, is just finding those beautiful pieces that we've enjoyed having in our van. You know, even things like just things I've collected along the way. So when we travel, we love going to the antique shops and just finding these little pieces that, I mean, I've had 8 vans in total now.
Really?
I've lived into for quite actually lived full time into. So I feel like I've got a really good understanding of things that not necessarily a necessity, but things that make it feel like a home. And that's kind of the joy of what I want to build now, is just more things like that just are those really nice touches.
Now, I know that there's a lot of people who are actually choosing van life for life.
Yeah.
And I've always scratched my head over quite a few things, so you're probably going to be able to help me. You know, what are the real challenges when you actually decide to live in a van, or, you know, go travelling for extensive periods of time?
Yeah, space is definitely the big one. I moved out of my home and into a van, so that kind of pack down process is quite hard, but also really uplifting to just shed all the things you really don't need. So that's kind of the key challenge, but also it's amazing what you can fit in a van. when we actually look now, after being, I mean, I moved into my van in 2019, so we've done 4 years in it now, and it's actually quite incredible what you can fit in a van. What are the other challenges? I think weather pulls a big one, especially when it's wet and damp and you start getting to the winter months. That can be quite challenging, but we generally try and avoid it. So we like to go to the mountains in France for winter, because it's drier air, and that's really nice.
That just sounds beautiful.
And also loneliness can be quite hard in the van. There is an amazing community, but we found when we go on big trips, sometimes it can be quite isolating, because if you're moving quite regularly, you don't actually have that time to stop and meet people necessarily. So big emphasis on building a community, but that is also growing. There's some really great apps out there now as well that can kind of help bring that connection to each other, and we've now got a few different places we like to travel where we know there's big van communities. So.
And I was about to say that, because I mean, I was reading in the news not so long back, some of these councils are sort of stopping people being in vans and enjoying van life. I mean, how hard, or is it not hard now, to find decent, good places for you to stop?
Yeah, it's interesting. There's definitely some councils that are against it. There's some great councils that are starting to
embrace it.
So they're kind of acknowledging more along the lines of Europe, I find it such a shame, because a lot of people in vans, they have disposable income because they're not paying for a home, or they have the joys of having spare time, or they're retired, so they have money to spend. And I think a lot of pubs have this acknowledgement now. So there's Pub Stop, where you can, if you have a meal and drink, you can stay in the car park. And in Europe, that's how these small villages survive, is by having motorhomes. People come eat in their restaurants. So I think they're missing a trick. I think there's a lot of advantage to having vans in areas. We used to have it, I lived in Newquay, and we would take the van to Falmouth.
Yeah, so beautiful there, isn't it?
Yeah, and we used to be able to park up along the seafront. We'd go out, we'd have a whole night out. You'd have a meal, you'd probably go for breakfast, you'd buy something. So you're putting that much into that community. And then a few years ago, they've just stopped it now. So now there's no vans along the front there. And then so we don't go do that now. So I think it's a shame. And I'm hoping it's going to like change. But there is change happening in some councils, and I think it's a big way to help support towns.
And the thing is as well, is like, you know, some people have found themselves in very difficult, precarious positions in their life. And what you're doing, you know, by being in a van, is you're not being part of a problem for the council to try and find you housing and stuff. So you'd think that they would actually embrace it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is the unknown. I think there is also some good reasons. There's definitely some in the community that aren't, you know, they're making quite a big footprint, and whenever we've been in the van, we're always very conscious to not overstay our welcome. We leave it tidier than we arrived. So yeah, but I mean, I was one of those people that I moved into a van after a very difficult time, and I needed that space, and it was my safe space. And there's a lot of women moving into vans as a way to escape certain situations, and that's huge in the community.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that there's a bit more understanding of who and why people are in vans, and especially now with the housing crisis and living crisis, it's given people a moment to either get some savings behind them or just to not have that pressure for a minute, and that's huge in the community as well. So yeah, I think a lot more awareness and understanding would be really valuable.
I also know that you have a great partner. Rob is sat there very quietly over there. He's giving you the job today. Also known as Smiler. And he is a smiler, I have to say.
He is, yeah.
You know, it must be lovely for you to be able to share wonderful memories like this with each other.
Yes, it certainly is. Yeah, he's been a huge advantage and a wonderful addition to my journey. He's been incredibly supportive in growing the business, and he's also helped. He does also now design products for the shop as well.
I was going to say he's an extremely talented in joinery and things, isn't he? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So he's product development and quality control.
Oh, Rob's now been given a great task.
Yes.
But I mean, I suppose they're the type of things, isn't it? Because you're there busy doing one side of the business, and to have to do it all and juggle all these things up in the air, it's like, it's nice to have somebody else to go, you take that.
Definitely. And he's just been so incredibly supportive, and especially in the summer when it just, I mean, it was originally a one-man band, and as a business grows, that can be quite petrifying some days, because you just don't have the infrastructure. And he's just been incredible. He just shows up, what do you need, and just keeps me calm and keeps me going. So yeah, he's a huge help.
Great support to you. So do you know, what do you think is going to be the next phase? Because I can't imagine you just staying with what you're doing. I can see that maybe you're going to have another plan for the future. What are you going to get up to?
At the moment, we're working on some other additional bits and bobs for vans, solving a few more problems, creating a few more creative solutions for little nooks and crannies in vans. And then I'm not sure what's going to be the final destination just yet, but we're definitely we spin many plates. we always have about 100 business plans and product ideas, so we try not to do the usual thing of embellishing in all of them too much. We just kind of let them sit and wait and see which ones kind of come out at the other end. But yeah, for now it's definitely just trying to get these products fine-tuned and have some really nice things for the vans.
And I think that's important, because there is actually a lot of products on the market for vans. And one of the criticisms people have said is that some of the products just look like they've been rushed, and actually they're not fit for purpose. It's a bit like they've come off Temu.
Yes. And Temu is one of the arch nemesis of the world. But it is really important to have that quality, and I think that does come with time. And it's actually quite, I don't think I ever realised quite how long that takes to really get a product to a point. Because, I mean, especially with the sink units that we've created, the portable ones, I mean, they're brilliant, but they really do take, there's always a tweak. There's always something that we're like, oh, actually, maybe. And there's a few other projects that we're working on at the moment that are the same, where we're like, oh, we've got it. And then like, oh no, actually, like maybe this just needs tweaking, and that, which is really important, and we just don't want to put something out there until it is right, because it's the name of the business, and it's our it's our quality on the line. So yeah, that's
well, you do some amazing things, because I even noticed like your seat covers and everything. I was like, oh, they're nice. Again, not the generic seats that you see.
Yeah. Oh gosh, they were such an amazing thing to find, and also from another female who's living in a van. So she's
amazing,
based in the Grand Canaries. And again, it was something she just designed for her own van, and then met. I'm probably not going to do this story that much justice, but from what I guess, so she met someone that ran a surf shop out there, and they collabed, and then got these seat covers into manufacture. So it's been really lovely to speak to her, put that into the shop, and support other people on the same journey. And that is one thing when you said, what do I want to do in the future? That's one of the projects, is to build a Vanporium. So to have other makers in vans or on the road or on boats, and just try and build a connection and a place.
It's a bit like a collective together.
Yes, yeah. Just to kind of boost everyone up and give that space for people. Because handmade stuff as well, like to actually try and get the value back of that. Because you mentioned Temu, and I think there's so many things that are easy to buy for cheap, and I think we're losing that value of handcrafted, and the value of what it actually takes to get products handmade and support people trying to build businesses. And I would like to build more of a platform for that.
And I think we do have to protect artisans in whatever realm it is.
Definitely.
Whether it's, whether it's like myself with food, I'm always saying, look for the artisans, look for the people who put care into their product. And it's the same for you. Everything. I think we just have to be a little bit more mindful. And also the waste factor,
definitely.
and in what we're doing to this planet.
Yes, hugely.
It's just become like a throwaway culture. And when we've got something here that you've designed, made to last, made to get over that Moroccan spice thing falling over and hitting it, and it's still going strong in the van. So I think that's a really important point you raised there with regards to looking after the planet as well.
Yeah, and I think it is. We've kind of forgotten, not necessarily forgotten, but I think there's been a weird transitional time where everything has become so accessible and easy to buy that we're starting to lose our manufacture and our of British made things. So I've just been putting a Christmas collection together of things to buy for people in camper vans, and it's looking at things like eco soap and handmade warm socks, and just giving some other ideas of what would be great, but also trying to support small business.
Oh, it's so lovely. Oh, Jenny, I could talk to you for ages, but now here comes the fun bit. This is the quick fire questions.
Okay.
I know. Take some water. You're going to need it. What is there one van life essential that people often forget, but you definitely can't?
Van life essentials. Well, I mean, for me, it's got to be my dog.
Yes.
Well, I have two, but one particularly doubles up as a hot water bottle. So, yes, they both have to go.
That's Rob out of the picture then.
Yeah, Rob is also very important to come on the van trips. But yes, the two little doggos are part and parcel of coming with me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you all the way with that. What's one place that you would love to go and haven't been yet?
So I think Croatia is still very much on the list, and also Italy, or if we can combine that trip into both of them, then that would be wonderful. But,
I don't think I'd leave Italy, A, because it's nice, and the food as well.
Yes. Yeah, we've done quite a bit of the North tour, but I think just starting our way a bit more south with the van is definitely on the books.
Now, can you think of any sort of famous person or influencer who you would love to take on a bit of a van trip?
I think that's quite a tough one, but there's a girl I love following called Forage with Fern, and she was a bit of a good distraction during lockdown. I got fully into her foraging. So I think she'd be wonderful to bring along, because she could help teach me all the things to forage. Which
I was going to say, she'd be
That'd
pretty
be great.
useful as well on the van trip, wouldn't she?
Yes,
You know, you
yeah.
could go off into a forest there and say, right, Fern.
Yeah, and her
There you
food
keep.
recipes are incredible. So yeah.
Definitely. And finally, what is one tune you love to blast out when you're on the road?
Oh, I don't actually know the artist, but it's the song on the road again.
On the road again,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's always our setting off tune of motivation onto the next destination. So that's key to our road trips.
Oh, well, it's a shame because it's now come to the end. And I have had such a wonderful, wonderful chat with you, Jenny. Listen, I know that many of you following these podcasts just love to see all the products. You love the people behind the business. But you know what? We have to support people, just like we were saying about supporting artisans. The products, I mean, they speak for themselves. They are utterly gorgeous. I've seen them now in the flesh. I know that you see them on the pictures on websites and stuff, but it really doesn't do it justice. They're that good. So if you are doing a little conversion, it doesn't matter whether it's in a van, a boat, you know, or your home even. If you've got that little tiny small space, even in your shed, you know, you do need to have a look at these sinks. Don't put up with an ugly sink like I had to. If only I'd known, Jenny. All the details that you need are right down below in the bio so that you can go straight through and see her wonderful products. Jenny, thank you so much for coming in. It's been wonderful and long may it continue, but I can see that you're just going to keep going with lots of different products in the future, and I wish you every success.
Thank you so much.